Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are going to completely rethink something literally every single one of us deals with: stress. We usually talk about stress like it's the ultimate enemy, right? Something to be avoided at all costs. But what if I told you that stress could actually be your secret weapon? We're going to break down the fascinating science behind how our bodies react to pressure, and more importantly, how we can actually use it to our advantage. Okay, let's dive right into this. So imagine this for a second. Your eyes dilate and the room suddenly snaps into crystal clear focus. Out of nowhere, your fatigue just completely dissipates, leaving this heart-pounding vigilance in its wake. Your muscles tense up, it feels like they've been injected with pure energy, and for a brief moment, time actually seems to slow down. You are primed, you are ready for action, basically a biological machine operating at peak capacity. And the reason for this incredible physiological transformation? You clumsily dropped your tray in the middle of the cafeteria. It's kind of funny when you think about it, isn't it? Why do we overreact to such everyday situations? I mean, it is not at all unusual for our minds and bodies to have these seemingly massive, exaggerated responses to totally mundane events. Whether it's dropping a tray, staring down a looming project deadline, having a tense fight with a family member, or just living through a seriously embarrassing moment, these events can easily trigger what's known as the body's fight or flight response. But to understand why we react this way, we really have to look to the past. See, there is a massive mismatch between our ancient biology and our modern lives. The fight or flight response is this set of hormonal and physiological changes that actually evolved to help our ancestors escape literal life-threatening situations. We're talking about dodging a venomous snake in the grass or fleeing a charging hyena. For them, this intense response was absolutely perfect. Yet this exact same ancient survival mechanism can feel, well, quite a bit less appropriate for the types of modern stressors we face today. Your body is basically reacting to a Tuesday morning project deadline as if it were a hungry hyena. So what is the biological bridge connecting a dropped cafeteria tray to a pounding heart? Well, it's a signaling pathway known as the HPA axis. When we perceive something as threatening, overwhelming, or honestly even just embarrassing, this very specific pathway in the body is triggered. Think of the HPA axis as the master alarm system for your body. It completely translates your mental worry into physical, biological action. Let's take a look at exactly how this alarm system actually works. It all kicks off with the activation of the hypothalamus. This is basically the hormonal control center of your brain. The hypothalamus sounds the alarm, alerting the pituitary gland and the adrenal glands. And once these glands get the signal, boom, it leads directly to a massive release of stress hormones, primarily adrenaline and cortisol, just flooding straight into your system. And once that adrenaline and cortisol travel through your bloodstream, they trigger some incredibly powerful physical effects. They instantly increase your heart rate, which improves oxygen flow throughout your entire body, and crucially, they boost the amount of energy that is actively available to your brain. So the really important takeaway here is that this isn't just a panic attack. It is an incredibly efficient, highly evolved energy delivery system that is literally designed to make you sharper and faster. Which brings us to the surprising benefits of stress. This is a major paradigm shift for a lot of people. Because if having better oxygen flow and way more brain energy sounds like a good thing, well, that's because it absolutely can be. First and foremost, let's acknowledge the obvious survival benefit. This stress response helps you react quickly and efficiently in the face of immediate physical danger. If a swerving car is suddenly coming right at you, that spike in adrenaline and sharp focus is exactly what you need to jump out of the way. But the real magic happens when we look beyond life-threatening scenarios. See, short-term stress can be incredibly beneficial in just everyday situations. For example, stress in small doses is wonderfully motivating. I mean, nothing quite drives you to practice a piano solo like the pressure of an upcoming recital, right? But it goes a lot deeper than that. Feeling a little stressed may actually help you learn. The hippocampus, which is a brain region absolutely essential to learning, is incredibly rich in receptors that respond directly to the stress hormone cortisol. Plus, during your teen years, the brain is actively being rewired to promote exploration and learning, and one way it does this is by deliberately making this HPA axis more reactive. Now, if you still don't believe that stress can actually make you smarter, check this out. Lab studies have found that adding a mild physical stressor, something as simple as a sudden temperature change, right before a memory task can actually enhance performance. It's wild. A little bit of stress acts like a biological highlighter pen for your brain, signaling that whatever is happening right now is important and totally worth remembering. But of course, we have to talk about when stress becomes chronic. So if stress is this amazing tool that sharpens our minds and keeps us safe, why does it have such a terrible reputation? Well, the problem arises when this stress response is triggered way too often or stays on for way too long. There's an incredibly important window of time here, 15 to 30 minutes. Normally, when we experience a stressful event, our bodies release those stress hormones for about 15 to 30 minutes. That is exactly how the system is designed to work. You get a quick burst of energy and focus, and then the alarm shuts off, and your body returns to a nice state of calm balance. But here is where modern life throws a massive wrench in the gears. If we face multiple or persistent stressors day after day after day, the HPA axis actually starts to adapt. Because it starts anticipating that there are always going to be future stressful events right around the corner, the HPA axis gets stuck in the on position. It stays activated for longer and just continuously releases those stress hormones into your bloodstream. You are essentially living in a constant state of biological emergency. And that constant state of emergency, it causes severe issues throughout your entire body. A relentless stream of stress hormones can lead to very real physical problems like sleeplessness, debilitating brain fog, super uncomfortable digestive issues, and over time, even severe conditions like heart disease. The very system that was built to save your life literally begins to damage it. Which naturally leads us to ask, so how much stress is too much stress? Where exactly is the line between a healthy, motivating burst of adrenaline and a chronic, damaging overload? Well, it's honestly difficult to say with a single number, because not everyone experiences stress in the exact same way. Different factors like your unique genetics, your environment, and even your age can heavily influence the way your specific body responds to it all. Let's look at some tools for building resilience. Here is the really great news. No matter what your situation is, no matter your genetics or environment, there are proven science-backed tools that can make dealing with stress a bit easier and help you take back control. Our first tool is one you have probably heard before, but the biological reason why it works is just fascinating. Exercise is incredibly powerful. Physical activity is actually thought to prompt the production of entirely new neurons in the brain, which may physically help our brains become more structurally resilient to stress over time. Plus, on a much simpler level, a run through the park provides a great healthy distraction from whatever's currently stressing you out, giving your HPA axis a real chance to just reset. And speaking of heading out to the park, maybe you play a basketball game with friends. Did you know spending time with others can actually buffer your body's response to stress? It's true. This is largely due to the actions of oxytocin. Oxytocin is a hormone that helps us feel closer and more bonded to others. But amazingly, it also actively dampens the activity of the HPA axis. So hanging out with your friends literally turns down the volume on your stress alarm. How cool is that? Finally, we have mindfulness practices. Simple everyday actions like intentionally pausing to breathe deeply during a stressful situation or taking just a few minutes to journal every day can have a massive impact. These practices aren't just trendy fluff. They work by helping you build a greater understanding of your own thoughts and feelings over time. They train your brain to remain grounded right in the present moment, rather than letting your HPA axis spiral into a complete panic over future deadlines. If you take one thing away from this explainer today, please let it be this. We cannot always control what life throws at us. The surprise deadlines, the incredibly awkward conversations, the spilled cafeteria trays, they are all inevitable parts of life. But while the triggers are totally out of our hands, there are absolutely ways we can better prepare our minds and bodies to handle them. We can manage our biological reactions. Which leaves us with a final thought to ponder. Knowing what you know now about the incredible, energy-boosting, brain-sharpening power of your body's stress response, the next time you face a stressful moment, will you let it overwhelm you, or will you use it to learn and grow? The choice and the biology is in your hands.